It's Wednesday, and that means new comics. Sorry I've been AWOL from making videos for the last couple of days. I've been working on a couple of projects that hopefully I'll be able to let everyone know about very soon. In the meantime, let's take a look at the new horror comic books coming out this Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Let's check out This Week in Comic Book Horror, January 19th, 2022. The GHOUL Agency. Number 1 is from Action Lab Comics. The story is by Selassie with art by Orlando Baez. This supernatural slice-of-lifer comic may not be for the extreme crowd. It sounds like The Devil Wears Prada with an actual devil for a boss, as it centers around an ad agency where an artist must deal with the supernatural and paranormal as clients, as well as her demanding boss who is an actual demon. Could be quirky fun. White River Monster number 1 is from Blood Moon Comics. The story is by Keith Rommel with art by Wolfgang Schwandt. Mixing cryptid mythology with Cthulhu is a winning combination in my book. That's just what White River Monster does, as it follows the sightings of a large underwater creature that has eluded hunters, investigators, and the townsfolk of Newport, Arkansas. This comic sounds like just my jam. Edgar Allan Poe's Snifter of Death number 4 is from Ahoy Comics. The story is by Bryce Ingman, Rick Geary, with art by Ryan Kelly and Rick Geary. Each issue focuses on quirky and grotesque stories based on the stories and poems of Edgar Allan Poe. This issue centers on a great plague and a werewolf with political aspirations, along with the usual prose, poetry, and all kinds of fun and twisted antics of your favorite depressed alcoholic scribe. I always get a kick and a laugh from each issue of this anthology series. Mega number 2 is from Red 5 Comics. The story and art are by Salvador Sanz. When a giant monster known as the Salamander destroys the city of Montevideo, a young girl awakens another giant monster named Mega to take the beast on. In this issue, the two titans finally clash. Expect big and brutal kaiju action in this wonderfully illustrated series. Cover of Darkness number 1 is from SourcePoint Press. The story is by George Michail and Chris Cam, with art by M.G. Hiblen. While I don't know what the premise has to do with that awesome cover by M.J. Hiblen, which displays some wonderfully creative takes on classic Universal monsters, the story is about a family scattered to the 9 winds, attempting to come together again. It's all about family. Still, those are some wicked cool monster designs, and it makes me want to see what this indie comic is all about. Bountiful Garden number 5 is from Mad Cave Studios. The story is by Noelle Weir, with art by Kelly Williams. This is the final issue of the first arc of Bountiful Garden. It's a wonderful mix of sci-fi, paranoia, and horror as a group of astronauts attempt to return to their ship after discovering what looks to be paradise on a distant planet. But this final issue shows that something might have followed the group back to the ship, and the ship itself might not be as functional as it seems. Trust nothing in this wonderfully illustrated and very creative series that crosses all sorts of genres. Purgatory number 4 is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by Ray Fawkes, with art by Alvaro Sarraseca. After being worshipped, feared, loathed, and used as a plaything, Purgatory is about to turn things around and start fighting back. Credit where credit is due. Purgatory is one of the original bad girls of the 90s, so she's earned the right to show off those ass, titties, titties, ass, and titties, if she wants to. Ma number 5 is from Boom Studios. The story is by Jude Ellison, S. Doyle, with art by A.L. Kaplan. I bowed out of Ma after issue 1 because I felt it was a bit too preachy and more interested in making a cultural stance to tell an engaging story. But I hear it's not a bad little horror yarn, so maybe it got a little better after the talky first issue. If you don't mind a little discourse, this might be one of those slow creep stories. I have been really digging the covers to this series, so there's that. The last book you'll ever read, number 5, is from Vault Comics. The story is by Cullen Bunn, with art by Leila Leitz. With a crowd of slobbering fans on one side and fanatics on the other out to murder her for predicting the end of the world, an author and her bodyguard find themselves with no safe place to go in this apocalyptic tale by comics' most prolific writer, Cullen Bunn. Shadowman number 5 is from Valiant Entertainment. The story is by Cullen Bunn, with art by Pedro Andreu. Valiant's best comic returns with a whole new terrifying path for Jack Boniface to travel upon while attempting to tame the dead side as Shadowman. With new artist Pedro Andreu joining writer Cullen Bunn, this comic continues to be the only one I'm interested in at Valiant, sadly. As a fan of Valiant from way back, it's frustrating to say that, but at least they're doing Shadowman right. Out, number 4, is from AWA Upshot. The story is by Rob Williams, with art by Will Conrad and Marco Lesko. A Comanche language expert is the only hope for a group of Allied POWs trapped in a Nazi camp that unleashes a vampire to clear house. If you're looking for some of the best horror, look no further than this awesome military horror mix-up. The Rush, number 3, is from Vault Comics. The story is by Cy Spurrier, with art by Nathan Gooden. A desperate mother keeps on keeping on through a frozen desert with danger at every turn in search of her missing son. This is some arduous Western horror, the likes we haven't seen since Joe R. Lansdale was writing comics. The Crimson Cage, number 2, is from AWA Upshot. The story is by John Lees, with art by Ashley Cormack and Alex Cormack. Horrormeister John Lees gives a dramatic and bloody retelling of Macbeth through the lens of pro wrestling, of all things, and somehow it works marvelously. The grand spectacle of the ring really does serve as a wonderful and gory stage for this Shakespearean epic to play out. If you're looking for that rare story that appeals to both the highbrows and lowbrows, The Crimson Cage is it. The Walking Dead Deluxe, number 31, is from Skybound. The story is by Robert Kirkman, with art by Charlie Adlard. This issue features Michonne unleashed against a horde of zombies. Meanwhile, Rick has a choice to make whether or not to leave Woodsboro. All of this represented in full bloody color this time around. We Have Demons, number 3, is from Comixology. The story is by Scott Snyder, with art by Greg Capullo. This issue harkens the end of the first arc of We Have Demons. Anyone reading Scott Snyder's Comixology series? Let me know if it's worth checking out. I mean, the pairing of Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder, the team that reinvigorated the Bat franchise, has to be a good thing, right? Finally, we have The Silver Coin, number 8, from Image Comics. The story is by Matthew Rosenberg, with art by Michael Walsh. My buddy Matt Rosenberg delivers a harrowing tale of the cursed coin, focusing on a stock firm that acquires the coin amongst some antiques. It's social commentary and class warfare in a series that continues to be top dollar in terms of horror comic books. Any of these new comics interest you? I'll definitely be checking out The Silver Coin, Out, Shadowman, The Crimson Cage, Bountiful Garden, and may take a chance on Cover of Darkness and White River Monster. Let me know which ones you're looking forward to reading down in the comments.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. side that we're